thank you, Mr. Mark. I appreciate you coming on tonight, and we're gonna switch gears for a second here, and we're gonna switch over to selling. Thank you, Mark. Have a great evening.
Steve, thank you very much.
And at this time, I'd like to welcome you all to Mr. Steve McDaniel. Steve, how are you doing tonight?
Hello, Bob.
How you doing, man? We've talked
Good.
a few times, I think. So, Steve,
Yes.
why don't you give everybody just a little idea of your background?
Um, well, I spent probably 20 years in automotive retail, um, up till about the end of 2008, 2009. And I went and had this great idea. I was going to become a millionaire running a trucking company. So I went out and started a trucking company. Obviously, I didn't become a millionaire, but I did start a trucking company. And in 2011, some late 2011, as we was growing the business, I was traveling a lot in the trucks and training drivers and doing different things, and developed a blood clot in my leg, and was obviously, had to take care of that. And having a young daughter at home, we decided that I need to start looking for some way that I didn't have to be in the truck anymore. And me and my wife always had enjoyed buying, estate sales and going to auctions and buying, little nicks and knacks and things. And I'd always heard about eBay and all the success on eBay. So I said, well, maybe let's start studying that. Let's see if, that is something that's real, that, that we could actually um, create, an income from. And I can attest it is real. We did very well on eBay on the stuff that we were buying. Um, and but my problem with eBay was not a problem, and it really wasn't a problem with eBay. It was time. By the time you go out and search and find collectibles or whatever you were trying to buy at the time, and take pictures and load them up and do all the things that you need to do, it was just too time consuming. I really wasn't. It was taken away from my other business more so than it was actually helping the business. And I got to searching online about just different venue. I really wasn't looking for FBA when I found FBA. FBA kind of found me by accident. I was on YouTube one day and I was just typing in different searches about, um, different ideas. And what's his name? Rob Anderson for Dollar Moves
Right.
had a video popped up, and he was talking about selling books on Amazon. And so I watched his video and um, clicked on his like link, started watching his videos, and where he had actually walked a couple through, getting started with FBA. And I was like, FBA, what is this FBA? And and that was like in, I don't know, it was probably October of 2000, maybe September, October 2012. And that brought me one of the promotional products through his website was the pack program. And I figured I spent more money on crazier things, so I purchased a pack program, and I spent 2 days going through the pack and searching things online and doing all the different things, and that's how FBA come around for me. Um, in I think it was October, I actually signed up for my um, professional account with Amazon,
Okay.
but it said idle. I had purchased. I started from a different point than a lot of people, which means I had an income coming in. I wasn't not, we weren't not paying the bills or anything. So I was looking for something that would actually just keep me at home. That's what my whole goal was. And I had bought my Dynamo printer, and I'd bought my found my scan fob online, and I'd bought all the things that the pack program had told me to buy. And I went out and I was trying to figure out where to buy stuff. That was my big dilemma. I was my it wasn't that I didn't want to send anything in, as I just didn't know where to go get anything. And because what we had found, what we had here was mostly collectible stuff, which really wasn't for the FBA side. And I guess at that time my mind wasn't open enough to what could go into FBA. And then I was trying to do something on Scam Power one day and got really frustrated because I'm not the technically most savvy person in the world. And sometimes the little things hick me up more than anything. And I called into customer support. And this gentleman answered the telephone, and his name was Bob Willie. And I asked Bob, I said, Bob, how do I do this? And he kept sending me email after email after email how to do this thing. As fast as I could ask him a question, he was typing it back in and sending it to me. So I got to thinking, I really wished there was a way to shorten this learning curve into FBA. So I brought that to Mr. Bob's attention, and of course he let me in on his little secret side job of coaching, and that is how we became FBA. And my goal was, when I started FBA, was I want to take the products that I already have that I was selling on Amazon that would fit in the parameters of FBA, that I could sell on Amazon, and a little bit of money with that to buy additional stuff. And I just wanted to roll it. I didn't, I wanted to just let it build itself, and to see, to test if this worked. So Bob, his teaching style was perfect for me, because basically what he told me to do in a nutshell was, Steve, I want you to start putting a shipment together. And every time you come across something you don't understand, write it down. Write the question down on a piece of paper, and we'll get together a couple times a week, and I'll answer all your questions. Which was perfect, because I had 1,000 questions. But it really jump started my business. Now, it jump started me because, first of all, Bob, I got to thank you, because you not only were telling me where to go in some cases, but not necessarily your secret honey holes, but you would tell me, hey, have you thought about this? Think out of the box here. Have you thought about this? And I go, well, I bought Thrifting for Profits, and I read Thrifting for Profits, and I bought all these ebooks, and as we were going, and it just kept opening ideas after ideas. And I started out pretty much like everybody else. I mean, I would go to the thrift stores, and I would go through. I'm not a book person. Bob's a huge book fan, and every time I have a question about a book, he's the guy I call. But uh, Bob was saying, you can sell collectible games. Go scan games, and it was amazing to me it's how many collectible games you could buy. And as just going out and searching, I started finding wholesale venues. Now, to back up a little bit in this story, me and my wife had always not shopped at, but we would always go into some of the discount stores in the area. And there are a lot of guys here who buy truckloads of salvage merchandise and sell wholesale pallets and stuff like that. So we were familiar with that, and we had bought some and sold at auctions and some of that stuff. We played around with that some. But there was one guy in particular in my area who bought closeouts, salvage merchandise, closeout overstocks, and he has 5 different stores within 2 hours of where I live. And rather than buying the pallets from him, I would go to his stores and pick the good stuff basically. And that's how I started building my Amazon business. Um, and it's really weird to say this because I look on it now and it was really weird. I sent my first shipment in on December 22nd of 2012. 3 days before Christmas is when I actually put it, took it to the UPS office, and I think it arrived on the one of the packages arrived right after Christmas. We sold $83 the month of December 2012, and by coaching with Bob, we continue to roll that. Now I did invest a little bit more money in uh, I think in January, but not a whole lot more. And we had a monstrous January 2013 where we did $1,800, and I was ecstatic. I was calling Bob every day. I said, "Man, you ain't gonna believe I had my first $100 day. I'm ecstatic." And Bob said, "Well, what's the plan?" And so I said, "I'm not taking anything out of the business. I'm just gonna keep rolling it back in. We're gonna see how big it gets." And we did that. I don't think I ever took anything out of the business probably until August of 2013.
Okay.
And I think, and I don't know if you wanted me to tell this or not, but I will because Bob's as much responsible for it because he helped me get there. But we did just under 160,000 our first physical year this year.
That's fantastic.
And our problem today is not finding product. Well, I take that back. Sourcing is always kind of a animal in itself. You always want to find the best profit margin as you can. Our problem today is more so um, time, because we have gotten to the point that there's only so much time in a day to purchase it, to clean it, to get it boxed, get it ready to ship it off, and that's where we are today. And I no longer pay Bob for coaching, but I feel like we developed a friendship in our time that he was my coach, and we have always, probably on a weekly basis since I've been in the business, at least once a week I've called him and said, "Hello, Bob. Have you got your shipment in? Bob, this is what I did." And uh, not so much to not out of you know doesn't needing Bob in the aspect of motivation anymore, is just because I'm so grateful to his help in getting this business started. Because to be honest with you, usually when you find something that's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. But this is a business that's already written out in the pack course. It's already, I mean, there's so many ways to go about this business, whether you're starting very small and just let the business grow like we did. And now, a year later, I've got tickets to CES. I'm going to CES this year because I want to know how Barrington and Jim Cochran and all these guys have the time to go from where I'm at to where they're at. And um, it is just an exciting time for us right now, especially with FBA.
That's a great story, Steve. Um, the one thing I think people, let's see, one people are commenting like time and capital, the two biggest hurdles, and you've already touched on that. You've gone through a lot of variations as far as looking for the sourcing side, from where to find a product and how to get bigger volumes and things like that. And I know you've done liquidation. I know you've done stores where you bought larger quantities and things like that. Do you have any suggestions for people for? And I know you're in North Carolina, so you're a lot of people say, well, I don't have product around me. Well, what I'm finding, I think what you found, there's product all over the place if you open your eyes. It's amazing what's around. Do you have any tips and tricks for people as far as where you found things and what you could tell people as far as how to find product?
I think that's the biggest slowdown for a lot of people. It was for me. That and letting go. You know, people that have inventory sitting in their house or doing merchant fulfilled, they don't take the step to FBA. And the one thing is running a trucking company. I can tell you, you want to control everything. And I heard Jim Cochran say, and I don't know if I read it or if I saw it in one of his videos, but he said something that just rings so true. He only does the things that he can do, and you know that's somebody that you want to listen to in this business. And I say that to say this, but because when I first started, I think probably 50% of our conversation was, Bob, where do I go? Bob, where do I go? And the real answer to that question is get in your car and go somewhere. Because if you go, if you're doing retail arbitrage, that seems to be the big thing right now, retail arbitrage. Uh, I was doing retail arbitrage before I ever knew what retail arbitrage was. I just didn't know I was doing it. I was going to the discount stores. I would find whatever I could find, and I scanned everything. And I still make mistakes. I come home every day, or not every day, but every day that I go scouting, pretty much every time. And like to say I don't do it anymore, but I do it a lot. I'll be scanning my stuff in and go, crap, Amazon's selling that. I didn't see that on my phone.
We've all done.
You know, or this is packs of two. What was I not looking at? You know, and so, but you got two choices at that point. Either send it in and get your money back that way, or take it back to the store if you can. Um, I don't know. The craziest place I've ever bought that I buy stuff at is flea markets. And I don't ever hear anybody talking about it, but we have a lot of flea markets in our area that's open on the weekends early in the morning. And it's amazing if you go through there that there is everything. There's everything from antique tools to brand new products, and typically you're going to buy that stuff cheaper than you would anywhere else. I still go to thrift stores. I don't not buy because if I don't go to a thrift store this week, it's because I didn't have time to go to thrift. It's not that I wouldn't go there to buy, and I think that's the question. If you're going to ask me, where I buy the most from, I have I have developed in this past year some relationships with wholesalers. Now, these are not direct manufacturer wholesalers. These are guys who buy truckloads of return merchandise or um, overstocks and closeouts. I think I was telling you before the Spreecast today. One of the things that I got, this was from a Rite Aid purchase. There, I got a phone call from my wholesaler. He said, I got a bunch of overstocked Duracell batteries. You need to come take a look at them. Now, this guy sells on Amazon also. He's a merchant fulfilled, but he sells on Amazon. But he knows what I do. So, but he can't sell it all. So he calls me. So he knows kind of how to price me. You know what I'm saying? So I go up there and they're sure enough they're these big. They're all D-sized batteries, 8 packs. You can Google them or Google them. You can look them up on FBA right now. I think I'm the lowest. I got the buy box at 1577, and he had 24 cases of 12 packs, and I bought every one of them. Now, a year ago, I would not have bought every one of them. I would have probably bought 5 packs or however many I could afford to buy at the time, because when I started out, and when I say this with all sincerity, I did not after the initial investment we put in the business with me and you, I didn't take money from my personal account or my trucking business and put into Amazon. I wanted Amazon to be self-sufficient, and I have not made money 1 month. I remember talking to you in December, and I said to you, $59 a month? Are they crazy? And you said to me, Steve, you've only got to sell X number of products to cover 59. I said, well, how do I know I'm going to sell 40 products or whatever the number was you told me at the time? And I look at it today, and I'm selling 690 products a month. That was last month. So I'm glad I'm paying the $59 a month now. But looking back on it, it is really it's comical, actually. It really is. When I look on it, and I think of some of the questions that I asked, not that they're not deserving of being answered, but how we kind of hamstring ourselves, of getting out of the gate because of the fear of, does it work? And I can tell you, if an old boy from North Carolina, with couple years of college at best. I didn't graduate. I got a couple years of college, and when I tell you, and Bob will tell you this, when I tell you I am technology, computerly challenged. Let me put it that way. I mean, I can get through emails and I can get through, Spreecast, and I can get through this, but you start reading some of the things that you have to do on. I mean, I was freaking out about scan power, for God's sakes, But now after doing it, I can promise you, if you start doing it, it's just like anything. It becomes second nature to it. Scan, go, print, scan, and it has been a blessing. It's been a blessing. We are in the dilemma right now of not buying more inventory. We haven't really grown since. We've continually grown. Let me rephrase that. From, if you compare this month to this same month last year, we're up about 15, 18%. But we're not looking really how to buy more product, because buying the product is not my problem right now. My problem is having the time to process the product to get it into Amazon. And your Spreecast has been helpful. I mean, I think it was a week or maybe the week before, you had a gentleman on, that had John, who had the service for not drop shipping, but um,
My inventory team.
um, yeah, my inventory team, exactly. Apologize for losing the train of thought. But out of that came the MMA group. And that was like a shot in. I mean, and I called you. I remember the day after I called you. I said, Bob, tell me about this. And basically, they have, uh, they send me a list. And again, it's a cost, but they sent me a list. And this 2 weeks ago, it had to have been 2 weeks ago now, because I started getting the daily list, and I was going through them, and I just averaged. I said, well, that's a good product. That's a good product. That's a good product. So I ended up buying three. Again, I'll go back to what I told you was, it's different because there's a delay. Um, uh, you don't have the instant gratification of actually purchasing it, bringing it home, and doing it. But man, I made $300 profit in 10 minutes sitting here by clicking some few buttons and putting my credit card in the machine, in the computer. And 7, 8 days later, my product was here. I told you, I opened the boxes, put my stickers on it, closed the boxes back up, and shipped them back off. And that is what we're looking to do. How can we buy inventory and process that inventory a lot quicker? Uh, One thing I will say just quickly, if you start looking into people who deal in salvage merchandise, and they have overstocks, and they have um, closeout inventory, or whatever it is, and especially if you're looking at discount stores, pay close attention to two things. One's expiration dates. I've got hung out on expiration dates before because sometimes they'll have expiration dates on boxes, or especially health and beauty stuff. That there's chemicals out there now they can take those expiration dates off. So you might want to open one just to see if there's an expiration date on the bottle inside before you go and purchase 100 of them, because I've done that. Uh, the other thing is condition. Um, you might be looking at, they might have a closeout on a certain Lego, or Ninja Turtle Legos. I remember seeing those one time. But the boxes will have, some boxes will have creases in them. Some boxes will have scuff corners. Now, if you can still buy them and you can sell them a lot cheaper and you can rep it, as shelfware, that's one thing. But please, you know, I me and you've had several conversations about, what the expectations of an Amazon buyer is. So don't misrepresent what you've got. I mean, I have bought stuff that was, I could tell was brand new, but the corners were all scuffed up. But I bought it so cheap, I was able to sell it like new or in good condition, collectible, and still make a good return on it. So that's just something to keep in mind if you go that route and start looking that way.
Okay. Looks like somebody's got a question on here for me, so let me put this up here. Bob, tell me about your current inventory quantity. Do you have an end goal in mind, or more of a more is better perspective? How much does sales rank play in a factor in how you add your inventory? Whew, that's a question and a half there, Robert, but it's a good one. My current inventory, I think I'm running, I don't know, somewhere north of 3,000 items on Amazon FBA right now. See, it gives Steve's chance to take a breather and get a drink there for a second. And I probably, of that, there's probably 6,000 items up there. So I have a lot of items that I have quantity up there. Do I have an end goal in mind? As the people that know me, for me personally, I am great planning for other people. I am not great planning for me. I'm one of those, the cobbler children kind of thing. So I'm definitely more of the more is better. Since I'm sitting on somewhere north of 20,000 books, somewhere north of 12,000 trading cards, and who knows what else all here, 150 decoys, and who knows, I got more stuff than I know what I'm good for. I probably got, I don't know, something on the order of 10, 18-gallon Rubbermaid tubs of CDs, probably another 10 containers of comics. Yeah, I got stuff running out my yazoo, but and I'm still buying every day. And if somebody brings me something, if somebody was to go in my driveway right now, I'll tell them, if you come back in about a half hour, I'll look at your stuff and I'll buy some more tonight. And anybody that knows me knows that's true. Because if they've been here, I probably have had somebody visit me because I've gotten everybody trained in my area. They know to bring me stuff because it keeps me from having to run all over the place. And they bring me stuff all the time, and I buy it, and I keep buying it. And I'm trying to get more and more of it in. Um, and I am getting much better with getting the stuff in. Sales are showing it too. My sales are improving. And you asked a question about sales rank, and one of the things I teach my um, coaching clients, and it's a really important thing, is when you're using an app like Profit Bandit or Scan Power or whatever you're using to scout with, as I do it, I do what's called Bob's Circle Check, which is to be looking at that whole screen. Sales rank is just a piece of data. It's not more important or less important than anything else. All that data together, the sales rank, what category it's in, is it oversized? How many sellers are there? What are the FB prices? Is Amazon selling it? All of that together gives you the picture. And as you get looking around that screen and doing that circle check, you'll find that circle check becomes real easy to do in a second or two. It really, in the beginning, it takes a long time because you really have to think about everything. But as you've done it more and more, it gets very intuitive. And you just look around and go, that's a good buy. That's something I want. And I'm going to buy a bunch of them. That's something that's iffy. I think I'm going to buy 3 or I'm going to buy 6 and I'm going to test it. And then if it does good, I'll go buy some more if they're still there. Sales rank is one of those things I usually tell people. Its sales rank is fickle because Amazon recalculates the sales rank every hour. So if you bought, and here's why I tell people it's fickle. If you looked at something today and it had 100,000 square sales rank, would you buy the item? And you go, yeah, I probably would. Next week, it hasn't sold for a little while. Next week, you look at that item, it has a 300,000 sales rank. Would you have bought the item next week? And you go, no, I probably wouldn't. And I go, okay. And you think about it like this, it's still the same item. It's still the same physical item that it was last week. So why is sales rank that critical? Factor in that whole equation and make a good general decision, and then you'll do a lot better in business and you'll have a lot less mistakes. Will you make mistakes? Guaranteed. I've been doing Amazon over 10 years. I still make mistakes. And just like Steve, I miss that Amazon is selling it sometimes. Or maybe Amazon came in after it. I usually like to think that one. But I know for a fact in a lot of cases, I just flat missed the Amazon price. It's just reality. Or I missed something else that was important. Can you see everything? No. But you try not to make any more mistakes than you possibly can. And you try not to make big mistakes that are costly. You try to make little mistakes so that if you do make a mistake, it's like, oh well, and we all do it. And then you have to sell something on eBay or sell it on Craigslist or do something else to get rid of the item. So yeah, just factor everything in, and then you'll be able to do a better thing. And just so people know out there, I really do this business, so I'm active out there in the business. I'm not just coaching. Um, I say I used to work for Scam Power, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I ran the support department for almost 3 years, but I got to the point where I was running the FB forum, my Yahoo group that's out there, and I'll put that link in there for people. If you're not in my forum, you definitely want to be because it's a lot of great information. I can't type and talk apparently. So there's the link for that. I was doing that. I was running the Scam Power department. I was doing probably 55 plus hours a week doing support. I was doing seller coaching. I was doing the Amazon business and then doing other things. And I was just so spread out all over the place that I probably wasn't doing any of them to the level I really should. So I finally made a decision this January that I gave my notice with Scam Power. As much as I love everybody there, with Paul and Ashley and Zach and Chris and everybody, but it was just time for me to concentrate on my core businesses. And now I do my primarily seller coaching and my Amazon business. And be honest with you, I'm a lot happier. So I'm able to concentrate. My business is doing better. My coaching is doing better. Um, Shortly thereafter, leaving there, I did join Jim Cochran's team. So now I'm part of Jim Cochran's training program. Um, and if you want to see my bio on Jim's site there, um, yeah, I'm typing. So I have this. There you go. There's the link. You can go on there and see my bio on Jim's site. Um, I'm the senior coach now for Jim Cochran Training, and I thoroughly love doing this business. I thoroughly love helping people, as Steve can attest to. And I know sometimes he thinks like he knows he's got to be getting frustrated or whatever, Jimmy. But when it all gets said and done, it's even as much as I get frustrated every once in a while, we always work through it, and I still enjoy helping no matter how frustrating or whatever it is. I still love doing this, and so I'm going to continue to.
Yeah, he even stopped billing me after a while, guys. I mean, that's something to say. Um, did you want me to address this question, Bob?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, current inventory, I probably have about 1,500 different items in FBA right now. Some of those items are individual items. Some of them I have 30 or 40 of. So I don't know exactly what my total products are, the total number. As far as an end goal, I don't have an end goal. What I tried to do when we started was every month I had a I set a goal every month. We started out $1,800 in January, and my goal for February was, wow, wouldn't it be great if we could do 3 grand? And I don't know if you remember these conversations, Bob, but I remember them like they were yesterday. I was like, man, but do you think I could do 3 grand in February? I didn't do 3 grand in February. I did six, and I was just blown away. You know, and so my goal every month changed based on what my Amazon business was doing. As far as how I bought inventory changed over the course of the year dramatically, because I remember me and Bob having these conversations, and it would go something like this. Well, Bob, I found a bunch of these and I was making really good money on them. They don't have anymore. But if you keep searching, there will be something else. I can't even remember. I'd have to go back and look. I can't even remember what was hot in March of last year, because I don't sell that anymore because it's moved on to something else. Um, and I tried to cast my net as wide as I possibly could, as financially limited as we were in the beginning. Uh, I would rather had 10 individual items wide than I would at that time, rather than buying 10 items deep. Now I'm exact opposite. If I can buy 15 or 20 of something, and it's within my FBA budget, I buy it. Sales rank, that is, I hear that all the time, um, and I hear it answered a lot of different ways. And I'll give it to you this way. Bob made the mistake one day of telling me about a store that he shopped at, and I looked them up, and sure enough, they were here too. So I said, well, I'm gonna go pay a visit to Bob's store, and I ended up buying a little red scooter, wooden scooter. I don't remember what it was now, that Bob had. Because when I put it online and I went and checked it against other FBA sellers, well, there was Bob. And I said, shoot, because I didn't want to be a competitor of the guy who told me about the store. And he's gonna think here he's gonna think I went and I'm just stealing his ideas. Um, and that thing sat there and sat there and sat there. It had no sales rank. But Bob had bought one, so that's the reason I bought. Not the reason I bought it, but it was such a good deal versus what it was online for. The the, the bottom line is whether it's got zero rank or if it's got a million rank, there's a price it will sell at. Now, whether you're willing to sell it for that price is a totally different question. But if you got a product that's got a real high rank, one thing I always look at is maybe you're pricing it out of the market. Um, if it, especially if it's something that's common. The other thing is the other thing I look at is I run across items all the time where there's no FBA competition. If you're looking at something in Lowe's, for example, that's in the home improvement department, and it might be say a wall lantern, a wall light, or a shower head or something. And it might have a 200,000 or 300,000 ranking. I don't not buy that stuff, and the reason for that is maybe the reason it's got a 200,000 ranking is because there's no FBA seller. What would it be if there's? And I have bought many, and when I say many, I'm talking about hundreds of items. Now I don't buy deep on them. I don't go buy a pallet of them, or even a case. But if I'm buying something for $5 at Lowe's off a sale table that has sold on Amazon for $25 or $30, or even $20, I'm gonna take a chance on that item, especially if there's no FBA, because there I didn't believe this when I first when I'm not saying I didn't believe it, but it seemed odd to me the first time Bob said to me, "There are people out there who won't buy from merchant fulfilled people."
It's true.
There are people out there who won't buy from merchant fulfilled people, because when you see somebody go up on FBA, I've been the only FBA seller on an item before, and sell, and it'd be a replenishable item, and then have other FBA people come onto it. And when I started, that item had a terrible ranking, but people bought it from me because it was fulfilled by Amazon. And so I look at sales rank for what it is. Like Bob said, I mean, you could, when I get my sales list from MMA, the MMA group, a lot of times when I go on there to check it on Amazon, the rankings already went back up from what they priced it from the day before. So Sales rank is just one tool of many tools. I dare you to be creative with it. That's what I do, because that is where I think this business was mine exploded, was when we started thinking, when we started taking chances with stuff. You take calculated chances, but I mean, just because if you're going to make 400% return on your money, does it matter if it takes it a year to sell? Put it in the bank. It's not going to. You're not going to get 400% in the bank. So I'm not I'm not suggesting anybody go buy deep or anything like that on it. But if you look at an item and it's got a really good return on investment, and your business has already grown some, so that you don't have to sell it tomorrow to replenish. You're not in a big hurry. Once you start getting money coming in on a regular basis from Amazon, you can step out. And I didn't start off buying $50 and $100 items. Bob used to tell me, well, he told me this today. I went to Walmart and I spent $1,200, and I just shake my head, because Bob will go spend $1,200 on three things, to me that was crazy. And that comes back to another question I get a lot when I talk to people in groups and stuff, is they'll ask me about return. How much return do you get on your, if you buy something for $5, it must sell for $15. And, I'm getting away from that 3 times rule mentality. Uh, Bob told me about that. He said, be safe, use 3 times. If you get 3 times your money back, you're doing good. And that is a very good rule to follow. But when you get past, once you get running, and you're comfortable, and you don't even have to be comfortable, but once you feel like you kind of understand what's going on, I look at it as a strategic investment on everything I do. If I spent $50 a day on an item, does it have to sell for 150 to make it a good item? And me and Bob's had this conversation over and over and over again. No. If it's a small item, if I can buy it for 50 and I can sell it for 120, and I still get back 80 after Amazon fees, I'm getting a $30 investment, especially if it's a fast selling item. I'm getting $30 back on a $50 item. How many $2 items do I have to sell at $8 or $9 to get that same that same return on the money? Not even though I'm getting a bigger return, I have to sell so many more of those $2 items to make that one sale. So you need to think about everything. I like having the smalls. I like buying the toothpaste and the toothbrushes and whatever I can sell that make a lot of, I love having the $10 items, because when you click on your accounts, you go, man, I had 22 sales today, or I had 15 sales today. It's good because you're already seeing things turning. But I came across a Klingon battleship of all things, Bob, and the guy wanted $70 for it. And I looked it up. I scanned it. It was a collectible, very good condition, never been out of the box, never opened, and it sold on Amazon for $140. Well, that's not 3 times rule, but I still made $42 on the item. It was oversized, so it cost me a little extra. But you get a $42 investment back on 70. A $42 investment back on $70, or $42 return on $70, sounds a whole lot better than 6 back on 2. I don't know why, but because you have to sell 7 of those items to get the one. So that I, I think not. I kind of went off on a different thing than your question there, but I'm just giving you the things that we think about today. That's where I'm at in my business, and I look forward to going to Dallas and actually seeing Bob in person, because I've never seen him in person. I've talked to him a million times and seen him on Skype and Spreecast 1,000 times. and his guest next week, Barrington. When I bought the CES ticket, I got access through Jim Cochran to watch the older videos from the videos from last year's CES, and I've seen Barrington on some other um, channels, other Spreecast, and I watched um, his interview with Jim Cochran last year, and man, he is an infectious guy. I think me and you had the conversation this morning about, um, you made the comment to me, if you don't like Barrington, there's something wrong with your pulse. You need to check your pulse because you're not heart beating. But this business, this business has, I have never in all my business, in all the businesses I've been involved in the automotive business and in the trucking business, it's all, what can I do for me? What can I do to get ahead of you? What angle can I take to cut you out of the business? This business, especially in the last few months of this business, what I have learned is everybody I have met, whether whether I purchased an item or I didn't purchase an item, or if I just asked a question, people tend to give you genuine answers. And 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 Bob and I heard some people talking about always being positive and always. I'm not always a positive person. I always try to be when I'm talking to Bob because I don't want him to sick Yoda on me. But uh, sometimes you just have a bad day. But it's amazing. You can get online and you can read through the forums and my sales team forums, or you can go to the Bob's Yahoo group, or there's so many places you can go, and there's somebody struggling with whatever you're struggling with somewhere, and there's always a moderator on there. I don't know where they get the happy juice they feed the moderators, but the moderators are so positive and so energetic, and everybody has really, has been a blessing to us. So not to drag on patting Bob on the back, but Bob has been a true person to us. He's been he is more than somebody that just mentors. He has become a friend to us. So and my wife and my 11-year-old daughter, whom he's never spoken to, all know who Bob is. When I say Bob's name in the house, they know I'm talking about Bob from FBA. So it has been it's been a great ride, and I look forward to next year. I look forward to what we can end out this year with, and and any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm an open book. You can, if you're ever in Shelby, North Carolina, come by. I'll take you where I go. I don't care. I don't think there can ever be too many people in this business. There's going to be those people that do it and those people that don't, and this is not a, you got to invent it business. It's not. It somebody got the crazy idea to write it all down in a book, and all you got to do is follow the book, and it's really that simple. And if you don't want to follow the book, you can do like I did. You can spend the extra money and get a coach, and they'll read the book to you. So
Steve, I tell you what, I really want to appreciate your time. We're probably going to have you on because there's probably more questions here than we can answer tonight, and that's a good thing. Um,
okay,
and it's been a great session. The people have hung on with us. We've run a little over than our normal. We normally try to go an hour. It looks like we're about an hour and 25 minutes. So, but that's fine. They're hanging in there. We've still got almost 50 people in here right now. So it's been a great group of people. Um, Steve, it has been wonderful coaching you. And you're right. We have become friends above and beyond the coaching. So we've taken it from the mentor to the friend, and that just happens when you work with people a long time. So it's an honor to be your friend. So and I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank all the people for coming on tonight. Um, and if you want to find any more about me or what I do, you can go to sourcoaching.com. Um, I live, eat, and breathe this stuff, so it's real. Um, it's what I do. It's what I love doing. So if you need help, I'm here to help. That's what I do. Um, and like I say, I want to thank you all for coming. Next week is going to be a really good, another good Spreecast. We're going to have Barrington McIntosh on here. I call him Mr. International. Um, and he is just, Barrington's a, if you haven't met or haven't heard Barrington talk, believe me, you want to be here. It's going to be very enjoyable. It'll be a great time. Um, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. I want to thank Mark Levine from Bubble Fast for coming on earlier. I want to thank Steve McDaniel for coming on and sharing all his information. He very unselfishly shared a lot of good information that he didn't have to, but he did. And you all get the benefit of that. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Have a wonderful week. Have a very profitable week. Well, and see us on any of the forums or on Facebook, and contact us if you need us. And in the meantime, we'll see you next week on the Spreecast. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.
See you, Bob. Thank you.